Hello and welcome to my screencast on GoFormative.com. So GoFormative is a formal assessment website. I find it really useful in creating little quizzes and nice formal assessments for my students. I also use it for summative assessments when I make larger quizzes and tests. So if you go to, we'll start by just going to, on your browser, goformative.com. If you've never signed up, it'll ask you to create an account. It is free for teachers, and students don't actually have to create an account. They can use, when you're in the main, when you've logged in, you have an account up here at the top, there is a quick code that you can give them, and they are able to type that in and join, and I'll talk more about that later. So with GoFormative, we see a few things. By the check mark, that's the GoFormative logo. We have formatives, that's what they call their assessments. We have classes. You can create new classes. This GoFormative also pairs with Google Classroom, so if you already have a Google Classroom account, you can pull that classroom into GoFormative. I don't think we use Google Classroom in North Kansas City. And then Tracker, I've never used this, but what it does is goes through and tracks your students and how they do. Like I just took the professional development assessment practice, and I think I answered all but one question, so I got an 80%. And it keeps track of which students have taken them and how they're doing, and so you can see long term how they're doing on their formatives. So if I go back over here to formatives, I'm going to get into the meat of this website. It's actually pretty cool. I'm going to start a new formative. I'm going to click on that. Internet's been a little slow. I'm going to call this. Here's where the title, untitled formative. Yes, I think I've done about 161 of these, so this will be 162. So I'm going to just do test assessment. How about number 1? All right. So over here, this home button brings you back to that main screen. We are currently in edit mode, where we're going to add or subtract or change our assignment. The preview button will show as soon as we have assignments or have questions. That will let us see what a student will see. And then in process, while students are taking their assessment, teachers, this is a really cool feature, teachers can actually view the responses in real time as they're answering. So maybe I have a kid who's really struggling with rhythms, and it's been 10 minutes and they're still on question 1. I can see what they're doing and I can give them some feedback right away. I can go up to see what they're doing and go up to them and help them if I need to. And then over here is the assign and share. What's cool about GoFormative is I can assign any of my assessments to students, and I can also share my assignments directly to other teachers with accounts. And then if I needed to change my assignment type to make just for a label, you can do that as well. I don't think I've actually ever used that feature. And over here we can change the color. Let's say just for today, feeling green. Yeah, actually, since I'm here at Eastgate, we'll be blue. All right. And if I needed to add a picture to the top to make it more, I guess, more enjoyable for the students, I can do that as well. This is very similar to like a Google form. If you're used to Google Drive features, Google Form, you can do some of the same things at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this plus button. And what you see right away are a lot of things. We're going to cover content and questions. Over here on the right, advanced questions, you actually have to pay to use those. And that's kind of the one drawback is I would love for my students to be able to use audio responses through Canvas or through GoFormative, but I don't want to pay for the full feature. However, I did mess up and say Canvas. You can do audio responses in Canvas, and Canvas has a lot of the same features. I think one thing about Canvas, though, that they can't do that GoFormative can, is that I can see responses in real time, and I can see it right after they complete it, and they don't turn it into like a Canvas where then I get a notification, and then I can go check what they're doing. I can see it in real time here. I'm not going to talk about the upload and transform. That will be in a different screencast. So if you want to check that out, upload and transform, I think, is the best way to use GoFormative, and I encourage you to go check out my other screencasts on that. So content here in red is everything that I want students just to watch or read. Students, as far as I understand, students cannot interact with content on this side specifically. So if I wanted to upload an image, I would click on image, and then it's going to ask me to choose a file. Maybe if I'm in art, I choose a picture, and then maybe my next question will be, from the picture above, what are you feeling? Maybe it's a picture of a quarter note or a half note, and I want kids to answer in that way. Over here, this is the duplicate question. So if I click it, it's going to duplicate it down below. And then, of course, this is the trash button. I'm going to go ahead and remove. I'm going to go ahead and remove. Okay. Other features, I can take code from YouTube or any other website, and I can embed it into it. So I'm going to show you how that works real quick. So if I click the embed here, what it's going to ask me to do is take code, and it tells you, just to be funny, hint, it usually starts with iframe. And so if you're not used to code, I am not that well versed in it, but I do know how to find it on YouTube. So I'm actually going to Command T, and we're gonna take a sidestep for a second. I'm gonna go to YouTube. Since my 8th graders have been singing a couple songs for their assessments, I'm going to go ahead and I just use that as the example in these screencasts because that's what's on my mind right now. So we're singing the song Toots by Eugene Butler. I'm going to click on the YouTube video. And if you've never known how to do this, I'm really excited to show you because I think it changed my life. So the video is right here, and if you go down, there is a share button. And a lot of times when we click on the share button, for some reason my share button takes multiple clicks, but it does work. So right here, normally we stop at this, which is the link. I can copy and paste this link and send it to somebody. They can click on it and go right to the website. Or I can hit the copy over here. But to the left of copy is embed. And so it shows me the video on the left, and all of this writing right here is the embed code. So this code is what is the writing of the YouTube video, is what this is the written form of the video on the left. So I'm going to copy it. Okay. I'm going to go back to my formative assessment. I'm going to paste that embed code right away. And what it does is it goes ahead and reads GoFormative reads this code and puts the video right there. However, there is another feature on GoFormative that actually makes it easier. So if you're actually doing a video, I would suggest not embedding content, but instead going down here to video. And if you notice, it already goes really to YouTube. So if I went back here and typed my URL, so I'm going to copy my URL. I'm going to put it in here, paste it, and then update. And then here's my video. So either way you want to, with the embed code, maybe you've got a couple features on a website that you might want to show, whereas the video is going to pull any URL and with a video. So it's paired with YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. There's a whiteboard. So let's say I want to just draw a picture for my students and have them respond. It gives me a whiteboard. I can click on Edit Whiteboard. Here is my blank canvas. Over here on the left, I have my word processing features. I can draw shapes. I can add text. I can add an image, a picture. I can select something on my picture and I can erase. Over here, I've got my color. Let's just be fancy and let's go blue. And then I can choose my font. So maybe I want to draw a beautiful kind of A beautiful quarter note. If you notice on the left, it's doing it in real time, or trying to update. When I let go, it updates it. So maybe I give this, and then my next thing I might add a question from the whiteboard above, or from the picture above. What is the name of that note? Something to that effect. I'm going to go ahead and delete. I can also add a text block if I wanted to write some text to my students. Maybe it's a reminder underneath a question, a reminder about maybe some traps that something with music that maybe they need to be reminded of. For instance, maybe if I'm having kids label pitches, note names, I might add a little text block at the bottom saying, remember to check your clef before answering, whether it's treble, bass, or any other clefs you might be working with. So over here in the middle are the questions that students will actually be answering. And so each of the questions, if I go to multiple choice, over here, if I made a mistake and don't want to use multiple choice, I don't have to just delete with the trash can. I can actually just go back through and choose which one. These are all the same as if I go to here. They're all the same there. So I want to stick with multiple choice. Here is my question. What is ... Okay. I'm going to choose my answer. Let's just say it's C. And of course I can click on C and I can make, I can say whatever I want. We'll just say quarter note. I can change all of these answers, but it knows down here where the little key is, that's the answer key. And so it knows that quarter note is the correct answer. I can change up at the top right, I can change the number of points. Let's just make this 30 points. That's a big question. I can duplicate it if I wish. I want to show you real quick, if we go back up to the top and you want to see what this looks like, I can click preview. We're going to give a second. So this is what my test will look like right now. It's kind of boring. There's only one question. What is, and then my question will be here, and then A, B, C, or D. Well, answer, answer, correct answer, and then another answer that I'll put. And the kids can see that it's 30 points. I can go back to edit, and I can add multiple. So if I go to plus, I can add a multiple selection here, or any. I can type my question. What are? And so multiple selection, if I want, if I have a question with multiple answers, I can click which answers I want to be correct, and it's the same principle. I can change my number of points, I can duplicate, or I can delete. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. I'm just going to show you kind of how these work. Short answer. I'll type my question here, and I want, I'll just go, let's go ... question mark. So if I want to, I can add a correct answer right here. Maybe I want them to type out the word quarter note. If I'm not sure if my students are going to name it correctly, maybe I know that a problem a lot of my students have is maybe not putting spaces between it. Maybe they make it one word. So maybe I give another correct answer, quarter note. I don't know, actually, if it worries about capitalization. So if I want to, let's go ahead and do the same with a capital, just to cover all my bases. Because if someone answers, it gives an answer that's not in my answer key, it will be counted wrong. If I only look at right and wrong and don't check the actual answer, but check whether it's green or red with responses, green being correct and red being incorrect, then a student may have gotten it correct in their own way, if that makes sense. So it does pay to kind of keep an eye on the answers. Maybe someone forgot to put the E in quarter note, or they were just typing fast and didn't go back through and look. Being someone who I don't worry too much about spelling, as long as they can, if I were to ask them verbally what the answer was, if they can tell me, I'm going to accept that answer. But I want you to see what short answer looks like, so I'm going to go back to my preview. And so short answer down here is this bar, and so they have a little bit of writing, so kind of, you know, a sentence worth of answering if you need, if need be. I'm going to go back to my edit. I'm going to go down here to plus. There is an essay, So essay works the same way. I would not add a correct answer because with an essay, kids are going to be writing sentences, more than one sentence probably, and there's no way for me to tell how that's going to be correct. So that'll be for me to answer on my own or to grade on my own. But if I go to preview, it gives a nice big box here for an answer. And again, it's keeping track of everything that I have. That first question is a lot of points. Don't get it wrong. And then we've got 1 point for number 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go back to edit here. And so if I click the plus, I'm going to skip show your work for a second. I'm going to go true, false. It works the same way. I type my question in here and I choose which one, whether it's true or false. And then the preview will show the same, will show that question on number 5. If I click the plus again and show your work, I really love, because if I go to show your work, I can say to my students, draw a quarter note. I don't know why I'm stuck on quarter note today. And so what's going to happen is if I go, I don't have to change my background. I can edit this background, and I could draw the notes here, and then maybe have the students write maybe the counts underneath. So for middle and high school, or even elementary school, you can write the 1, 2, and 3, and a 4, or you can write your ta, tate, tafa, tefa, however you want to. So if you want the kids to write more on your drawing, you can do that as well. So if I go to preview, what's nice is preview will actually go where I left off. So I'm pretty sure if I go to the top here on edit, and then I go to preview, it's going to start me at the top. Yeah. So right here, if I'm a student, draw a quarter note, I'm going to show my work. And let's go 15. So I want to draw a quarter note. Let's just say I get it wrong. Okay. Well, no, I'll get it right. All right, kind of. I do really love this on the iPads. On the computer, it's kind of hard to do this as I'm showing it on the computer. I like to create stuff on the computer, especially even if my kids are using their iPads. But it's so much easier to draw with your finger, whereas I'm drawing with a mouse pad. So then I would hit done, and that would be my work that I would show to the teacher. Now, with showing your work, there isn't a way to give a correct answer. See, there is no correct answer here, so that would be something where I just visually look at. So, and then let me go to edit here. Okay, so I've got all of my questions here, and I want to share this. I want to assign it. Assigning is when I send it to students. So if I click the assign and share, it's going to come up with 2 options, assign or share or collaborate. So if I click share or collaborate, this is they call it the clone code. I can send this to any person with a GoFormative account, and they type that in, and they will have whatever assessment was paired with this. So this whole test assessment number 1 would pull up. So it's a nice, easy sharing capability for teachers. If I go to assign, I can change whether I want to return the scores back to the students, if I want to show them the correct answers, or enable edits after the submission. I don't normally click this, especially for tests. For right now, it's a one and done. If I want them to change something or to maybe go back and do some corrections, I will actually do a different test to allow them to do some changes. But I'm going to click on guest students, and then I click assign. And so when I click assign, right now it is active. You could type this code in on goformative.com/join, and you could type this code in. And what you're going to do is you will type this code in, and if it's correct, it'll ask for your first name and last name. The only reason it does that is so that when you answer, I can go to view responses, and up here at the top, here's my first question, we'll say the name. If they don't put their name in, which they have to, but if you don't, you won't know who it is. So it's really nice that you'll just see a bunch of little circles here with kids' names in them. So I hope this helps as serves as a reminder. And so if I go back to my home and I don't want this anymore, I can go down here to test assessment number 1, click on it, and I could move it to a folder. I can share it. I can copy it. Maybe I like a lot of the content, but I want to make it slightly different to modify for certain students, or I delete it. Are you sure? Absolutely. So I hope this helps. Please check out my other screencast on the upload and transform, because I find that that is like the best way to use GoFormative. Thank you for watching.